Now, each one of us, we've all got a review, I assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Let's start off with Jake, because Jake, it's been a while. I want to see hear your opinions. So, what is your movie then?
My movie I'm going to review is it's an indie horror. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually decided to do a small indie film for a change that's a comedy because, it's been a while and I may as well do something a little bit different, eh?
Yeah,
I'm
wow,
looking.
yeah, wow, a comedy from you? This is
I
interesting.
Yeah,
know.
I know.
I'm looking at the screen with trepidation, Jake.
I know. But this, as normal, it's got to have something a little bit different about it. And it's directed by Steven Shainberg, who I don't suppose is that well known. I couldn't tell you what else he's done. He's that sort of unwell known.
Okay.
And
I'm just surprised you know his
got,
name.
well, it's got Maggie Gyllenhaal in it, and it's called Secretary.
I've
Is
actually
that?
heard of this, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, is this recent or is this like an old one?
2002.
It's. Oh, please tell me it's the one with James Spader in it.
It is.
Yay!
I haven't seen this, so
I
I
have
want to
seen
know.
one scene from it, and that was enough to make me think, yeah.
Awesome. So tell us, how is this movie?
This movie is a freaking excellent movie. It's portrayed as being what I can only describe as incredibly sexy.
Nice.
But it's actually a lot more slow burning than the trailers or even the DVD front cover would have you believe. And it's actually nowhere near as sexy as anything would have you believe. And it's got an incredibly odd storyline to it. Now, do you want to know or should I keep it?
Well, I would say dabble on it a little bit. Don't give too much away, but give us the briefest of briefest plots.
Right, okay. Well, what it's about essentially is a woman that struggles with life, and her way of dealing with life is to cut herself. And then she discovers BDSM
Ah, as you do.
Sexy.
and hurting herself that way, as opposed. And her boss, hence secretary, introduces this to her, and they get along absolutely spiffingly after that, believe it or not.
Spiffingly not being the word, I'm really. Woo!
I could just imagine now. Janice, could you get me a coffee, please? And if you're not busy, can you step on my balls with some high heels? That'd be lovely.
Oh, ow! Please, that hurts.
And it's just absolutely crazy. It's also got in it, believe it or not, but I can't think of his name, but I want to call him Bishop from
Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen is in it as her alcoholic father that drove her to like feel the way she does about her life, and it's really really good. It's got some crazy dream sequences in it, as every indie film should have. It's grounded in realism at the same time. It's very slow burning if you think you can sit through it, and it is actually quite romantic as well.
The thing is, when you describe the plot to me, it doesn't sound either remotely funny or remotely romantic. It sounds quite depressing and
Mate.
quite painful.
I think
Johan, if it's got James Spader in, anything can be funny. I sat through 5 seasons of Boston Legal because of that man. Oh, and William Shatner, but mostly that man.
I mean, I really, really give it a go. Like, I don't think you understand it, Johan, but I think it's a film that you should definitely watch to really get it. It's one of those films that you're watching, and then you go, oh, okay.
Okay. So it's one of those that's just kind of it's like you say it's a slow burner, so it builds up to the whole point of it. Basically, it goes, ooh, okay.
Sort of. I mean, the ending is obviously the big sort of point of it, but it's just one of those films that's very difficult to describe, and you wouldn't want to be sitting down the pub trying to describe it because you'd sound like some sort of like closeted nutter.
Well, I am a closeted nutter, so maybe I can relate. I shall definitely give this a go. So,
Yes. Before you judge me, it's not. I've got to make this clear before we move on. It's not necessarily about S&M. That's not the point of the film. It's about being able to feel pain as opposed to nothing, or pain as opposed to sadness. And
okay.
okay, it's there's not a massive element of that kind of thing in there, but there is a touch, a hint. I have to make that clear before we move on because otherwise people are going to watch it with high expectations.
Okay. Well, at least you sorted that out and saw. Okay, cool. I'll definitely have to give it a peek. And
Do it.
awesome out.